We're going to watch a little piece of the last board meeting. So far, I haven't found anything worthy of republishing on my blog there. Board meetings, very routine, very self-congratulatory, all very scripted. But one thing I do want to talk about is Mcfarlane is going to present to the board an update as to the Secretary of State audit. Now, this whole thing with the Secretary of State audit, and I know I talked about it at the time, but I'm going to talk about it again. Because if you remember, if you think back, I know it's not easy to do, the mass media doesn't allow you to stay focused on any one issue. The mainstream media continually bombards citizens with more information than they can process so as to continually distract people from the subject at hand or to manufacture consent for whatever happens to be going on in government at that time, and then they move to the next thing. But if you have the perspective of Trimet events as I do, you remember that the Secretary of State audit was ordered as a result of this.
Coin 6 investigates how your money is being spent after Trimet executives received substantial raises.
I've admitted and I've apologized for the way that was rolled out.
And those raises came after fares were increased and service was cut. Most of those raises went to executives already making six-figure salaries, and Jeff has been digging through a lot of numbers to try to get to the bottom of all this.
Now, that is why the Secretary of State was called in to do an audit of the Trimet administration. That was the major reason why they were even called at all. Now, the Secretary of State waited 6, 8, 9 months. I forgot how long they waited. They waited months. It was something like 9 months before they even started the investigation. And, well, I don't need to talk about this further because I'm going to show you what the Secretary of State's investigation ended up being.
As Dr. Bethel noted, we've now had about 9 months since first seeing the Secretary of State's audit recommendations, and I wanted to give you a quick update, and there's a written report in your handouts as well about where we are with that. We are, again, 9 months into implementation, and we've made some tremendous progress. If you remember, there were actually 23 recommendations that came up through from the Secretary of State's audit report. We said we would implement all of those, and we are well on our way. One key area was related to safety efforts, and we've been regularly updating you on those. So I think, again, I'll skip to some other areas. One is government and management. The second will be external communications and relations. And third is managing operations. In the area of government and management, the audit reaffirmed our financial situation, calling, and I'll quote from the audit, most serious and looming concerns are the health benefit costs of employees and the unfunded liability to pay these benefits for current and future retirees, as well as their beneficiaries.
And there you have it. It went from the coin investigation of the managers. They waited long enough that they were able to pervert the entire investigation. There was not even a mention made about those secret raises. The Secretary of State's audit didn't even mention that stuff. Okay, nobody said anything about any of it. I mean, just the obscure blogger Al sitting out here in the blogosphere with his 200 people that actually watch him, seeing that was a complete setup. And why do I bring this up? Because what it proves, this is the microcosm of our government in general. This is our local level of what you can expect from our government. And that is nothing but self-perpetuating propaganda and self-perpetuating policies. They have no interest in meeting the needs of the public, nor do they have any interest in meeting the needs of us, the employees or retirees. They completely block out any communication that is not following their script. And this is the problem with our government. And this whole thing with the Secretary of State audit is the exact personification of what's wrong with this country today. There was an outcry. There was what I consider to be thievery on the part of Mcfarlane, who stole raises while he was cutting services. There was a Secretary of State audit ordered because of that, and the audit was perverted by government itself. They knew exactly what they were doing to, instead of investigating the managers, to attack the employees. And so that's the point I'm making, is government is not here to help you, it's here to hurt you. And they try to figure out a way to get you to believe them. And this is the insidiousness of what Trimet's doing every day. They keep pumping us with this propaganda, and I'm afraid the union now is on Trimet's side. Somehow they've been compromised by Trimet here and have allowed Trimet to somehow influence their decision to go along with this union contract, which looks like a complete capitulation to me.